Okay. In the last class, we were discussing about the prop types, right? So the basic in order to work with the prop types, what are the things we have to consider? First, we have to identify what is the type for the prop we are going to consider, and also we have to add a dependency called prop types into our project. Right? So once we install this dependency by using the prop types property for a component, we can set the prop types for any component. Right? Next, we are going to see about the React state management.
Yeah, I was able to manage the, I was able to download the day before ones also.
Okay, fine, yeah. So now, okay, React state management. Now, state. Okay, what is a state? A state is an object, okay, that stores the values of the properties belonging to a component that could change over a period of time. Okay, so in case of props, you observed it, the props that we are sending from one component to another, but the state will be lies within the component, right? So the state is nothing but an object which stores the values of the properties that belongs to the component that can change over a period of time. Okay, its state is an object that stores the values of properties belonging to a component. Okay. A state can be modified based on the user action or any network changes. Okay, a state can be modified based on user action or network change. So whenever our state object changes, right, the React automatically re-renders the component to the browser. Okay, whenever the state changes, automatically the component re-renders. Okay. The state object we have to initialize in the constructor. Okay, the state can store the multiple properties. Okay, so the state object can be initialized in constructor, and it can be store multiple properties. We can update the state object by using the this dot set state method. Okay, by using the set state method, we can update the state values. So first we are going to see an example on the simple state. Okay, so now I'm going to create an example. So my example is okay. So I will have a button. Okay, on click of the button, I want to change the button or state value. Okay, by default, I will make the button text as a Okay, click me please. Okay, once the user clicks on this button, I want to change the text as a thanks, this has been clicked, something like thanks being clicked. Okay, so what I'm going to do, first I will store the state, initial state as click me please. Once on click of the user action, I want to change the state value. So in order to initialize the state, we have to use the state object in the constructor. For that we can add the value. Okay, by using the set state, we can update the state value. Okay, so for that, the set state will take the two arguments. Okay, what are those syntax? Okay, set state. Okay, first one is the updater and second one is the callback. Okay, so this represents the optional, right? So first one we are going to see about updater. Okay, updater can be a simple object, okay, which represents the new state what we are going to update. Okay, it can be a simple object and also it can be a function which returns the object what is the new state that we are going to maintain. Okay, the function can have a state comma props, right? It will take a state comma prop and we can return the new state object from this updater function. Okay, next we have a callback, right? Okay, the callback is something that we can have a function. Okay, once the state value updates, this callback is going to call. Okay, which means, right? So if we are trying to access the state value before the updation or immediately after call of this dot set state, right? So it won't happen. So if we want to access the state, we must use the callback function. Okay, we will observe that. You will understand it later. Okay, this callback function can have a value of the updated state. It can be taken. Okay, if we pass any arguments, automatically the updater state will take, or we can invoke the any things that we want to do it after the state. That can be done by using the callback function. Okay, so now we are going to see an example on the click me please. Now first I am going to create a project called state demo. I created already. Let me open this project. Okay. Now in the app.js we have something called logo. Okay, we have like this. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a component called state demo. dot js. Okay, so first we are going to see about the class level component, how we are going to maintain the state, right? So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a class, import React from React, and next class state demo extends React dot component, right? Now, so the constructor, we are going to create constructor now. If we want to set the initial state value, just a minute. Okay. So, yeah, I'm audible, right? Hello.
Hello?
Yeah. Able to hear, right?
Yeah.
Oh, good. So by using the state object, we can set the initial state for any component. Okay, so first, what is the component state we are going to plan? So first I want to make a state value as a initial state as a click me please, right? So what I'm going to do, this dot state. Okay, the state is an object, right? So how we can create an object using the curly braces, right? Object will have a key value. Okay, the key is the which we are going to maintain a state. Now the initial state is click me please. Now I want to display the state value on the render, right? So I want to create a button. How I can create a button? Return. Yeah, how we can create a button? Button. Yeah, type is equal to button, right?
Yeah.
Okay, what is the text I want to give?
The button text BTN text.
I want to give the
Your voice is breaking.
how I can act.
Hello? Hello?
This dot state.
Your voice is breaking a lot. I can't hear anything.
Yeah, hi Monica.
Yeah.
Connected. So yeah. So this dot state is an object, right? So if we want to access the state values, we can access by using the this dot state dot property name.
Oh, okay.
Okay, export. I'm exporting this component as a default state demo. Clear, right? Now I'm going to call my state demo inside of our component, right? App component. How we can call? Name of the component within the Angular brackets, right? Okay, now if you see the, I'll make one h1. Okay, must call the super constructor in derived class before accessing this or returning from derived constructor. We have to call the super, right? So now, okay, now it is able to render the value of the state inside a button, right? Now I want to update the state on click of my button.
Okay.
Understood it? So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to call a one method inside of my inside of on click button, click of the button. How we can write it? So that what is the event we have to use?
On click.
On click, right? You remembered the event names must be capital case, correct? Okay, so we want to call which method? Some method, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to call handle click method. Correct? This dot handle click method. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So handle click I'm calling. So here what I'm going to do, I'm going to change the state value of the button text whenever the user clicks on the button. How I can do it?
Set state.
By using the set state, right? This dot set state, right? Set state will take the first parameter is a object. Okay, it can be an object or it can be a function. Now I'm going to have an object inside of my set state function argument. Okay, that object contains the button text with the new value by saying thanks has been clicked.
Okay.
Okay, let me close this. Right now, if we are going to do the on click of button, it has to change it. So cannot read property set state of undefined. we are getting an error. Cannot read property set state of undefined. Why? What it means? It means this value becomes undefined, right?
Okay.
Let me print this value. Now, if you see the console log, you can see this value is undefined.
Yeah.
So how we are going to handle this? Do you remember we discussed two methods, bind and apply?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, what the bind is going to do?
I don't remember exactly.
Yeah. So the bind is going to bind the object for a function, right? Whenever we are binding anything to the function, it will bound that object to the function whenever it is going to execute. Okay, in case of apply, it is going to call, I think, immediately. So what I am going to do, I am going to bind, okay, this reference or this object to the handle click. How I can do it? This dot handle click is equal to this dot handle click dot bind, right? Okay, an object to which this keyword can refer inside the new function.
Okay.
Look at this. Now, if you observe, I'm going to click on it. If you see this value came, you observe it. Okay, this represents the current object, right? So it bounds the component object to the handle click. Okay, it binds it immediately, but whenever we are trying to run, it is going to use that time, right?
Yeah.
Clear it now. Now, if I'm trying to use like this, what will happen? We will see. You observed that maximum update depth exceeded. This can happen when a component repeatedly calls the set state in component will update or component did update. Okay, so here what happened? Instead of referring to the handle click function, we have called the function. You observe?
Okay.
So that's why what it is doing, it is calling this function and it is trying to remount or update the state value. Okay, it is trying to call this function again and again repeatedly.
Okay.
This can happen when a component repeatedly calls the set state inside of it. So that's why it is not working. Okay, most of the people will do mistake directly calling the function. Okay, we should not call, just we have to refer the function on click of the event.
Okay.
Understood it? So now I'm going to have a different example, counter demo. Okay, on click of the counter, I want to increase the counter value. How I can do it? Okay, so now the example is I have a button. Okay, add one. Okay, so my initial value is 0. Okay, whenever the user clicks on the button, I want to display like increment the corresponding values. Okay, so now what I am trying to do, I will create a component called counter demo. Right? What we have to do, import React from React. Right? Next. Class counter demo extends React dot component. I'm going to create a constructor. At this dot, sorry, we have to call the super, right? Super. This dot state. I'm having the state value as a counter 0. Okay. Now, in my render, I'm going to have a.
So in this case, we can use the functional component or not?
Yeah, I will come to the functional component. We have different concept in functional component.
Okay.
Okay, return div, right? Okay, just I want to have a state value. This dot state dot counter, right? Okay, button. Type is equal to button, right? Okay, the text I'm going to use as a add one. Okay, I'm exporting default counter demo. Now, nap.js, I'm going to call the counter demo. Okay, now we have a counter is displayed on the component. Okay, whenever I want to click, I want to add one value, right? How I can do it? We have to have a one function call, right? On click is equal to this dot handle click, right? Now, okay, we have to bind this object to this handle key. Now what I'm going to do, I'm this dot set state of, here I'm going to use an function which returns an object, okay, counter, this dot state dot counter +1. Okay, what I'm trying to do, I'm taking the current counter and I'm adding 1 to the counter. Clear it? And also I'm using the function in order to change the value, right? So now I'm going to have a this dot state dot counter here. Okay, in the console I'm going to display the current counter value. Okay, now expected and assignment. $9.36. Control expected an assignment or a function call instead saw an expression. Okay, fine. So it is taking the latest counter value and increments to 1. Now on pick of add 1, what it is doing, it is adding the 1 value, incrementing the counter value. So whenever the state value changes, what it is happening, it is increasing the counter value, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So that time it is updating the component, right? I mean to say it is re-rendering the component in the UI. Correct?
Okay.
Whatever the updated value we have, those values are re-rendering. If you see, it is re-rendering the, right? So if you observe here one thing, in counter demo.js, what I have done, right? I am displaying the current counter value once the update happened. Correct?
Yes.
So what value you are expecting in the console log? It should be, yeah.
Z11.
But in UI it is showing as $, right? Observe.
Yeah.
So in case of it is showing the Volger value, right? If you see here, this dot state dot counter, I'm trying to print. So what happened, whenever the React is trying to update the state values, it performs asynchronously. Okay, which means if we are trying to access immediately after calling the setState method, it won't happen. Okay, so it takes a little time to update the value. Okay, so if we are going to use a callback function, right? As I told, in the callback function, this callback function will call after the state updates, right? So I mean to say, we can have the we can have the latest updated state inside of this callback function. Okay, console.log of this dot state dot counter, right? So what I'm trying to do, counter value in callback. Clear? Now, if I'm going to refresh it, observe. Yeah. So if we want to have the latest state updated after calling the this dot set state, we must use the callback function to handle that. Okay, yeah, clear. Next we have one thing, right? State and props. Okay, so the updater function takes two parameters. It will be the previous state and the props. Okay, I'm going to print the console.log of previous state and props. We don't have any props, right? So it won't display. Okay, so now on click of add one. You observe that sometimes if we want to access the previous state values, we can access them in the set state method. Yeah, so you understood that. So both callbacks and this concept.
Yeah.
Next we have a hook method. Sorry. Before going to the React hooks, we have to understand between the difference between the props and state. What is the use of props? Props are used to pass the data to its children components, right?
Yeah.
Used to pass data to child components. Correct? In case of state, what state is going to do? The state will have it will store the data that is required inside of the component, right? Use it to have or use it to store the data related to the component. Correct? Next. Yeah, props are immutable. Okay, once set, props cannot be changed. Okay, once we pass the props to the component, and once the component whatever receives the props can't be changed, right? Props are immutable. The props can't be changed. Okay, next we have it holds the data, it can change it over time. It holds the data and changes over the time. Okay, so if we want to change the data of the state, we can do it based on any events that it is going to perform. Okay, props can be used in both functional and class level component. Okay. In case of state can be only used in class components. Okay, it is up to prior to the React 16 version. Okay. Initially, we don't have a state management for the functional component. Okay, we have only for class level component. Okay, after introducing the React 16 version, we have a concept called hooks. Okay, by using the useState hook, we can have a state inside of our function component. Okay. Props are set by the parent component for the children component set. State is generally updated by event handlers, right? Props are set by the parent component. I mean to say, the props will send to the component from parent. But in case of state, it will generally updated by event handlers. Okay, these are the differences between the props and state. Okay, now we have to learn the React hooks. Okay. Hooks were released in React 16.8 version. Okay. Okay. So after 16.8 version, right, assume we have developed a project by using the 16.7 version, right? So if we are trying to migrate to 16.8 version, so do we need to use the React hooks compatible for the 16.8 version, right? So it is optional to use the React hooks. Okay, so it won't break any changes to our project even if we update from previous version to the 16.8 version. Okay, I mean to say no breaking changes. Okay, it is completely opt-in. Okay, no need to rewrite the code. Whatever we have written, by using the are in class level component, right? So it is completely optional to use hooks or to learn hooks. Okay, but nowadays most of the projects are using the upper version of React 16, right? 16.8. So most of them are writing the logic in functional components, right? So the functional components only supports the hooks concepts only. So it is mandatory to learn React hooks, okay, in order to survive. Okay, so it is 100% backward. Okay, I mean to say, okay, the existing projects won't break even they upgrade to the latest version of the React.
Okay.
Okay. So now what are the React hooks?
Actually, can we like stop the class by 9 for today?
Okay, sure, yeah. Okay, React hooks are the built-in functions that allows us to use the state and lifecycle method inside of our functional component. Okay, prior to the 16.8 version, we don't have an option to use the state management and lifecycle method inside of the functional component. Okay, by using the React hooks, we have an option to use state and lifecycle methods in functional components. Okay, our React hooks are nothing but the inbuilt functions. Okay. By using hooks, we can maintain the state and lifecycle methods in functional components. Okay, what are the benefits of React hooks? Okay, improved the. Okay, just highlighting the benefits. You will understand them once you understand the concepts. Okay, improved the code reuse. Next, better code composition. Better defaults and sharing the non-visual logic by using the custom hooks. Okay, we can share the non-visual logic using the custom hooks. Okay, you will understand this once we cover the hooks completely. Okay. So what is the motivation behind the release of React hooks, right? Okay, in case of the class level components, reusing of the stateful logic between the components is very difficult. Okay, by using the hooks, we can reuse the logic between the components without changing their architecture or structure.
Okay.
Okay, reusability of the logic. Reusability of the logic. And next, it is difficult to understand the complex components Okay, if we have written by using the class, it is difficult to understand the class level components, right? And also sometimes the classes are quite confusing. Okay, so as of now, prior to the React, most of the developers or the UI developers comes with the JavaScript, right? So mostly they were aware of the functions only. Okay, classes for them it is difficult to understand the classes, and also difficult to manage with the this behavior inside of our JavaScript, right? If you observe, right, so if we didn't bind this behavior to the function, what happens? We were unable to access this for other functions, whatever we have written inside of our class level component, right?
Yes.
Yeah, this behavior becomes quite confusing inside of our class functional component. This will behavior is easy. I mean to say it is a direct behavior. You can observe once we start the examples. Okay, next we have rules. Okay, we must follow some rules in order to use the React hooks inside of our functional components. Okay, what is the first rule? Hooks should be at the top level of our component. Okay, should be at top level of our component. Next, never call hooks from inside a loop, condition or nested function. Hooks from inside a loop, condition or nested function. Okay, what is meant by this? So how we use it to write a functional component? We use it to write function, name of the component, right? So this is the outer block of the component, right? So if we have written any loops, right, I mean to say for loop, right, so inside of this for loop we can't have a hook, React hooks inside of this loop, and also inside of the condition. This condition also we should not have. Can we write function inside of another function?
Yes.
We can write, right? So inside of this inner function also we can't use the hooks. Okay, so always hooks must be the top level of our component. I mean to say inside of this or immediate to the function definition we must have a hooks as a top level.
Okay.
And next, only use hooks in React functional components only. Okay, only hooks will work only in functional component. Okay, next. Never call a hook from a regular function. Okay, we can't call a hook from a regular function. Okay, I mean to say always the hooks must be used inside of the React component only. It should not be used for a regular function. Next, hooks can call other hooks. Okay, any hook can call the other hooks. Okay, these are the rules we have to keep in mind whenever we are trying to use the React hooks in our functional components. Okay, tomorrow we are going to see about the use state hook, how we have to use or how we have to do the state management inside of our functional component. Okay, tomorrow we will see the example.
Okay.
Tomorrow, hope you are joining it.
Yeah, mostly I'll join. If anything changes, I'll let you know before.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Tomorrow we will meet. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.